Blank. Remember, Point Blank is brought to you by Valex Lease Equip Limited. Valex Lease Affordable Document Management Solutions. Tonight on Point Blank, my guest is Kwasi Aidoo. He's the Member of Parliament for the Oforikrom constituency in the Ashanti region. A first-time Member of Parliament representing the good people of the Oforikrom constituency. He's also the Deputy Ranking on the Youth and Sports Committee of Parliament. And tonight he is my guest on Point Blank. Michael, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Sammy.
And welcome.
Thank you very much.
How's it been in Parliament? First time? How's it been finding your feet?
Oh, well, I'll say it's been quite interesting, considering the fact that our current numbers are not so encouraging. But then I would say that it's also encouraging because you have to push yourself, and our leadership has brought us all together to speed. So far so good. We're doing our best, and I believe the public will judge us, will judge at the right time, and even now will side with us that we are doing quite well.
The numbers which you say is not good, which the majority is trying to even reduce it, as a conversation will come to.
The thing is, the numbers don't look good, but that's why we say it's a mighty minority, because it's not really about the numbers. That's how I see it now. It's about the quality of people that you have, and that is what is contributing.
But in democracy, numbers matter.
It matters. That's why in Parliament we say that minority will have their say,
but the majority will have their way.
Sometimes when you have your way so much, then it gets to a point people begin to realize that you do not have their interest, because the few minority who will be speaking for them will be making more impact on them. So it doesn't, for me at this point, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the quality and the work that we do in the house, putting the Ghanaian people first, speaking for the Ghanaian people, putting the government to task, making sure that everything that the government brings, we're able to look into it and make sure we get the right things for the good people of this country.
Talking about numbers, today the majority chief was on the floor of the House making a strong case why the Speaker should declare the Pandai seat vacant, coming on the back of the Tamale High Court ruling that says that there should be a rerun of the Pandai parliamentary election within the next 30 days. I'm sure the minority side is not comfortable about this decision. The more reason why your leader held a press conference today to launch skating attack on the judiciary. So,
Sammy, the whole Pandai issue looks very, let me say, murky, because the way the case was even sent to court and the judgment that came. Have you seen the petition?
No, I have not.
The petition from the petitioners?
No.
I have a copy here, and if you look at the petitioner had a simple request from the court. The petitioner said out of 152 polling stations, he's expecting the court to do a rerun of 41. That's his petition. He didn't ask. So if you read all the petition, the request in the petition, you see that he says 41 out of 152, where he feels there were some issues and so on. So, and even with the reliefs that he sought, in his reliefs he said he wants a rerun in 41 out of 152.
So 41 polling stations.
41 polling stations.
Okay.
And he has listed each of the 41 polling stations and the infractions that happened there.
Okay.
That's why he's looking for. So why would the judge throw away the 41 and add the rest of the 111 polling stations or so, 111 polling stations, and say that we should vote all over again? Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to anybody. It doesn't. Even the petitioner will be shocked that I go in that let's do a vote in 41, and then the judge says, no, the 41 is not enough. On what basis did the judge come to the conclusion that they should vote in the whole constituency? Everybody is now waiting for the full judgment detail.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the speed at which the majority seems to be pushing that the member of parliament for Pandai, Honorable Nyindam, who happens to be my neighbor because we share the same office.
Okay.
The speed at which they are pushing to get him out of the chamber so that there will be a rerun is amazing. And even before the judge came out with his judgment, there were calls in the constituency from the NDC side that there was going to be a rerun, to the effect that even on social media, some NDC people started posting that there's going to be a rerun. How did they know the conclusion that the judge was going to make? Because we didn't know. We didn't know that the judge was going to rule in their favor. How did they know? All these are questions that borders on the integrity of our judiciary. And I believe, looking at the circumstances and all the issues that are going on now within the judiciary, looking at the issue of the Chief Justice and how 3 petitions are sent and 1 petition is used to remove a Chief Justice, and the acting Chief Justice, who happens to have an interest in the case, is made a Chief Justice and so on in brought to Parliament.
So you think there's a hijack of the judiciary?
Exactly. But in any case, we are not scared of a by-election now. Today, we are not scared of a by-election. But we cannot play with our justice system this way. We cannot. What kind of nation are we building? Today, it might be on the right foot. Tomorrow, it will be on the left foot. When it's on the left foot, what will people say? Even those that are acting now, the actors today, what will be their position? Would they maintain the same principles? And I have seen this government and most of the things happening, even in Parliament, from their budget and so on. The things that they said yesterday, today they've run away from it. And I'm beginning to feel that this is the government that lacks principles. And is that the kind of country that we want to build? These are concerns. They are concerns that worries us, that worries the public, that worries people. And I think it's about time that the government sits down and look at some of these issues and see how best to address them so that it doesn't come back to bite them later on.
Talking about budgets, the majority have hailed this budget, saying it's indeed one of the best things that ever happened to this country. They talk about, the achievement within this administration the last 10 months and what the government seeks to do in the coming years. And for them, this budget is a very fantastic one. But the minority, which is your side, have raised a number of issues from this budget. Which are the issues you think is not right within this budget?
Sammi, there are many issues. I don't know if you had a look at the 2025 budget. Are there any things in the 2025 budget that you remember that you think this government has been able to do? In Tree, we have a proverb that we say, "Agrobeswa ifranopa." So the way you act and the things you do will determine how it will end. This budget has a lot of promises. I was expecting a budget that will stimulate growth whilst managing our debts, watching our debt sustainability. That was what I was looking at. But judging from what has gone on over this year, I do not see the growth. I just see promises. I just see promises which may not even materialize. For instance, when you look at the sports budget, the budget for sports, you see that the Ministry of Sports has been allocated an amount of 600 million or so, which is more than what they allocated last year, this year. But quite interestingly, this year, the government had proposed in the 2025 budget to rehabilitate about 3-4 stadia. That's the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, the Accra Sports Stadium, the Abreu Sports Stadium, and the Sipon Sports Stadium. As it stands now, nothing has happened in
the
this.
The minister was in a Sipon some days ago.
Because he knows they are going to read the budget and that question will come up. So he went to a Sipon. What did he do? He went empty-handed. You drive all the way. He's even wasted fuel. You drive all the way to a Sipon after the year has ended. We are entering December. Something that should have happened this year. And you go to a Sipon to promise them what? That you will do it. Meanwhile, on 20th of September or so, Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football Club, and I think Golden Stars also, they visited the Jubilee House. And the president told them in that meeting that they were going to build 7 new stadia in 2026. 7, not 3. But look at the expression in the budget, the 2026 budget. It is now the 7 has now turned into 3 new stadia. 3 new stadia. What created that change? Based on what did the president now change his position from 7 to 3? That now reflects in the budget. So when I look at the fact that even in 2025, rehabilitation didn't come on. You couldn't even rehabilitate the stadia. And now you are promising to build 3. So let me give you the benefit of the doubt and say that, okay, the minister went to a Sipon, so probably the rehabilitation will occur early next year. Where are they going to get the money to do the new stadium when you are now going to use money to do the rehabilitation? And the Minister for Sports has been coming to meet the Youth and Sports Committee, and he's always had his hands on his head, wailing that he's not getting the full complement of his budget. And the same thing is happening across board. Almost all ministries, agencies, government will promise this amount and they will get 30% or 40% of the amount.
Despite what is allocated in the budget.
Despite what is allocated.
They don't get what is allocated.
They don't get it. Only few may receive. A lot of the ministries and agencies are not getting what is allocated. Quite interestingly, when you look at the 2026 budget, there's even a deficit. When you look at the expenditure amounts and the expected revenue, government has a deficit. How are they going to fund that deficit? Automatically, that tells you that a lot of the things that they've promised in the budget, they will not be able to do it. Judging from the 2025, sure about that? I'm very sure you'll come back to this next year. We'll come and sit here and you give me my stone. We will come and sit here and you will say, Michael, you said it. Judging from what has happened in 2025. And you know that from the end of next year going to 2027, we will start servicing our debts. And all these are going to come on board. So when you look at the long term and you look at the areas that the government is spending money, one, it doesn't stimulate growth. I was thinking that they will put the monies in areas that will stimulate growth. But then this is the situation where we have a finance minister who is also trying to control inflation. Since he came into power, all he's been trying to do is control inflation. He's controlled inflation to the point that he doesn't want to spend. And when you are not spending, what happens? The economy will not grow. Rather, the economy will rather shrink. And that is what is happening. So you see that inflation is down, but when you go out, people are complaining. They will keep telling you that there's no money in our pockets because contractors are not getting paid, suppliers are not getting paid, new businesses are not coming on board, and we are not seeing any industries. So the growth that the youth of this country expected, and based on those promises, they voted for this government, is not happening. It's become a charade. Let's go to the tourism sector, for instance. Sammi, do you know how much was allocated to the tourism sector? 255 million cedis. 255 million with some coins.
For the 2026 fiscal year?
Yes. And we've all been debating over this week on sanitary pads. Do you know how much was allocated to the sanitary pads? 292 million.
But
cedis.
the minister has come to dispute it. He said the figure your colleague Vincent Asifua quoted on the floor is still in the procurement stages. So it's not really the.
Sammy, the minister should spell us the rhetoric.
I heard the argument on the floor.
No, you put in your budget that you are going to spend 292 million cedis on sanitary packs for 6.6 million sanitary packs.
Yeah.
It's in the budget. It's a line item. I don't have my budget here. I would have opened it for you so that you read it to the public, to your listeners. It's in the budget. It's not disputable. This is a fact. It's in the budget. So what the minister was trying to say, and I was in the chamber when Honorable Haruna Idrisu tried to correct it when he said that the pack has 12.
Yeah, 12. A dozen in the pack, which is 12.
Yes. But everybody knows that when you go to buy pad, when you open the pack, there are 12 pieces in it that they will remove and use. So it's neither here nor there. If you knew, because in the budget, they've written 6.6 million packs. So why are you now trying to give further explanations? And when you do the math, it comes to close to 45 cedis a pack. And I have daughters. I have female friends. We've called to ask, how much does it cost? And everybody goes like, oh, Yaz cost around 15 cedis. Even the finance minister had posted on his Facebook page that Yaz sanitary pad is now 15 cedis. And there may be other expensive brands, but it will not go beyond 20 cedis. So when you price this at 45, the obvious reason is Inchobo. If not for Inchobo, what else? And how can you fleece Ghanaians this way? Sammy, where I'm driving at is, I do not even want to dwell so much on the cost of this part, because it's out there for the people, the good people of Ghana, to judge. But our tourism ministry in 2023-2024, one of the key drivers of foreign exchange into this country was tourism. When from 2020 or 2018-2019, when they introduced the year of return and beyond the return, and we had December to remember, and all these programs were going on, we know the impact it had on the economy. We know the impact it had on tourism, on creatives, on culture, and so on. The kind of tourists that came to Ghana. All these people will come, they will use services, they will use hotels, they will use Uber, they will use boat, and they will use taxis. Some will pick trotro and so on. It drives the economy. It drives growth. They will spend money on food. They will visit the art center. They will visit the tourist centers and so on. They will spend money. They will visit entertainment programs. Musicians will get the chance to perform to crowds, and they will cash in. That is how you drive growth. This government came for political expediency. They said they are introducing something called the Black Star Experience, and it was right in their manifesto. Under the Black Star Experience, they had listed a lot of programs that they intended to do. We don't want to wait till 2023, 2027. We could have done that. We could have turned a blind eye and said, let's wait. 2023, we hit them with it. But no, when you have the people at heart, you have to call the government to order so soon. That's why we are talking about these things. What has the Black Star Experience done? Nothing. This year, we've not seen anything. So we are entering into December. What programs have you heard of? Everything is quiet. You know, my constituency has a youthful population. My constituency has about 4 universities. KNUST is in my constituency. The Central University campus in Kumasi is there. Valley View University campus is there. We have UCOMs also there. I have 3 secondary schools. That's the KNUST Secondary School, St. Louis, and Mansell. I have a lot of schools. I interact with a lot of youth. And we are going into December and they are like, Honorable, this December looks very dry. And I told them this December will not be a December to remember again. It will not. Because even the tourism sector, the government didn't prioritize it. They promised that they were going to build theaters. Then they come in and in the budget they tell you they renovate National Theatre. And in Kumasi, you know what they are promising? To look for land and to do building designs of a theatre.
And the tourism minister was there recently, I think yesterday or today.
Yes, that's why she's promising land and building design. This country, we have a lot of projects that are at land stage.
But your party, the MPP, also promised similar thing in Kumasi, but they never fulfilled it.
That is different. That's why we were voted out, and we learn from our lessons. Have they learned from their lessons?
Well, they say they have a 4-year mandate. You know,
they have a 4-year mandate, but how they start will determine how they will end. 1 year is already gone. We are entering 2026. Then they have 3 years left. I don't count the last year because the last year will be for election. So in effect, they have just 2 years left.
Okay, we've got some few minutes to go. Let's go to constituency. Recently, your constituents gave you, thumbs up for a good job done so far. So when you go to citynewsroom.com, it says residents hail Oforikrom MP's punctuality and commitment to parliamentary duties. Looks like your constituents are happy with your work in parliament so far.
I'm grateful. I'm humbled. Sammi, when I was doing my campaign, I told them I was going to give them good representation. I remember one of your sister stations, Love FM, interviewed me. And, as usual, they will expect that for a politician, a young politician, will be making promises that I'll do the roles and I'll do it. And I told them that, well, I understand the politics of it. Yes, MP, I'm going to lobby for projects for the constituency. But promising that you will do some things can hang on your neck and you might not be able to get the funding to do it. So where I'm able to lobby to get the right development, I'll push for it. But then one thing I was going to give them is very good representation in parliament. Make sure that their voices are heard on the floor and in the media space. That Oforikrom's name is heard everywhere in this country. And that is what I'm working at. So when the good people of Oforikrom gives you this huge mandate, you have universities, you have lecturers, professors, doctors, people who are higher than you. My lecturers, I schooled in K University. My lecturers are there. They voted for me. I cannot come to parliament and be absent. I have to do the work in parliament and also make sure I'm available in the constituency to hear the issues on the ground so that I can use the tools in parliament, such as questions and statements and etc., committee level and so on, to also push for the interest of Oforikrom.
So when I come to Oforikrom, let's say today or tomorrow, what are some of your footprints in the last, let's say 1 year?
Sammi, if you come to Oforikrom today, one significant thing I'm doing as an MP today, I'll send you the picture so that maybe you can put it on for your viewers to see, your listeners to see. I'm putting up an ultra-modern ICT laboratory. I'm almost done. The secondary schools in my constituency.
Yeah. You mentioned 3 secondary schools, right?
I've been able to support all the secondary schools with sewing machines for their technical classes. That's their dressmaking classes. All of them, St. Louis, KNUST Secondary School, at least each school got at least 30 or 40 sewing machines. All of them. Apart from that, there are various groups like the Dressmakers Association and so on that I have supported in diverse ways. Recently, the junior high school students who wrote the BEC, I made sure all the 3,300 students that wrote in Oforikrom, every student had a mass set, because we didn't want the situation where any student will enter the exams room and they would be told that go home because you didn't even have a mass set. So these are some of the things, but most importantly, my ICT lab is key, because we want to promote ICT education in Oforikrom.
The era of AI and the rest.
Exactly. Because we have communities that are not in terms that do not have the private schools. And these communities, some of the kids that go to the schools in these communities, they have not even seen anything called robotics before.
Yeah.
So this ICT lab will have an ultramodern computer lab with robotics and all these things to teach the kids.
Okay.
And the next thing that I'll be launching very soon.
Our time is up in 30 seconds.
The next thing that I'll be launching very soon is my scholarship scheme.
Okay.
To also support education in the constituency.
Okay.
And when I do so, Sammi, I'll invite you guys
I'll gladly come and cover.
And when we are commissioning our ICT laboratory to you, we invite you.
I will gladly honor that invitation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Michael Kwasi Aidoo, Member of Parliament for the Oforikrom constituency in the Ashanti region. My guest tonight on Point Blank on Eyewitness News. It came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sammi Wiafe. Earlier you heard Fafa Melo, the show produced by Kwabna Wilson and Juliana Odame. Technical assistant Daniel Kwasi. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.